Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Gramcast. So today we've got a special guest with us. We're going to do something different for everyone, but something that I feel is very, very necessary so that my guest can clarify her position and clear some of the misconceptions that have been going around. So Fora, thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
We're just going to go through a few things today, as I said, just so you can clarify your positions, clear some of these misconceptions that have been going around. We'll then go to a second segment where we talk about dealing with pain and things like that. And you can give your perspective on how you've been dealing with that. I can give mine on certain incidents and things that have happened in my life, and then we can just have a little chat about that and sort of what we put in place to aid us, and maybe it can help other people as well. So it's been a tough year, as everyone probably knows. Tell us what's been happening over the course of sort of the last year or so, for those that haven't seen it or might not know.
For the past year, we were just in and out of hospitals. Really, that's a lot of what last year was. I don't really know how to describe it. We were just in and out of hospital. I really don't know how else to say it.
Okay.
For like a whole year. And then, of course, staying on top of the case and stuff like that. But Ahmed's story is just, man, I don't actually know what to say to you, to be honest. I don't know how to describe it to you. We were just in pain.
Yeah.
That's all we were in the last year.
Yeah. So obviously when it happened, it was during COVID or the beginning of COVID, which meant you couldn't even go and see him when it first happened. Is that right?
Yeah.
That's what I was reading. I just want to make sure that I'm not saying something that isn't the case. So it's good that you're here, that you can clarify some things even for me. The way I understood it is it happened and you couldn't see him because of COVID. Is that right?
Yeah, no, that's exactly it. No, so we actually... So before lockdown, we saw him for 2 to 3 weeks, and then lockdown happened. The first lockdown, they were like, "You guys cannot be in hospital anymore because if he's in such a fragile state, if you pass COVID to him without you even realizing you've got the symptoms, it could cause so much more problems, and then we won't have any control over it and stuff like that." It was just kind of a long process to kind of take in and go with. So Ramadan actually happened. That was so good for us. So good for us, because we were fasting and it kind of healed us, like, emotionally, and gave us patience. Like, it gave us so much patience, more than I could have asked for. I don't know if that makes sense, but when Ramadan happened, it was just a reminder of just keep faith in Allah. Just keep faith in Allah. Allah will help your brother. And I was so naive to think that... Oh, sorry.
Right.
I told you I might start getting emotional.
No, listen, just take your time. There's absolutely no rush. Take as long as you need.
When Ramadan happened and we were praying and we were like, Allah, like, please help us. Please, like, bring Ahmed back. Because I was praying and I was so hopeful of Allah, and because I was fasting, I thought, we're all going to get rewarded because my whole family's fasting. And my naive self really truly thought that as soon as Eid hit, like, Ahmed will just wake up, wallah. Like, I thought as soon as Eid will come, Ahmed will wake up and we'll be like, "See, Mama, I told you, why are you being so dramatic? Stop crying." Because my mum was literally like, I would sleep next to her because I would be so scared for her. And she would just wake me up in the middle of the night of her just chanting Quranic, like, verses, like Ayatul Kursi or whatever, like, just in the middle of the night. Like, she did actually sleep. And that lasted for so long. That lasted for like 6 months of her just not being able to sleep, like waking me up in the middle of the night, not intentionally obviously, but I sleep like I could hear a pin drop. So when my mum would start saying Ya Rabb, Ya Allah, Ya Rabb, Arjali Ibni, which means bring back my son, we'll wake up and I'm just like, oh, can you just let me sleep?
So just to touch up on the bit about not being able to see him, only imagine if my brain can even, fully comprehend it, how difficult that must be for yourself and your family to be like, we know he's in there and is in a certain condition, but we cannot see him.
But this is the thing, like those 2 weeks that we were in with him, it was still him.
Right.
It was still him. So those 4 months that went by that we couldn't see him, I still had that image in my head of Ahmed when he was okay looking, and when he still had blood in him, like you can still see the color of his skin. So that was still that image in my head. You know those pictures that I posted? That was the image that I had of my brother, and that was it. That was all what we were thinking of. And the ones who started visiting him within the next 3 to 4 months, it was actually my mum and my older sister.
Right.
They're the ones that got to see him. And when my sister was trying to describe to me, like, Fora, like, you really don't know what he looks like anymore. Please stop hoping for too much, because it will only hurt you in the end.
Yeah.
And I was so angry at them. I was like, why are you guys giving up on him? What is wrong with you? Why are you giving up on him? He's going to be fine. Yes, of course he's going to look like he's starved of food and stuff like that, because, he hasn't eaten in like 4 months, but he'll be fine. And she's like just shaking her head at me because she knew she couldn't get through to me unless I saw it.
Yeah.
And then, so that image is still in my head, right? And I'm still saying these things. That image was still in my head, and when they finally said to us, you guys can visit him, it was actually, we were still in lockdown, I think. I'm not sure, but we were still not technically allowed to visit them in hospital, like patients in hospitals. But the reason they allowed us is because they called us and they were like, your son, your brother Ahmad Torfi, is going to die at the end of the week. He is showing plenty of signs of death. His cells are shutting down. He's not feeding anymore. His body is rejecting it. He had liver failure as well. So his body was just rejecting medication and rejecting food, nutrition. So they were like, we had to stop the machines, and his cells are breaking down. He's going to go at the end of the week. And I saw it when I went in. Let me just actually say it to you in steps. So we went in, and that was the reason why. And we walked in, and before they allowed me to see Ahmed, the palliative team, the woman from the palliative team, do you know what the palliative team is? They are usually the doctors who come right before someone dies to make sure they've done everything in their power to make sure that the person still lives. So the woman from the palliative team came, and she was like, look, you might see his arm in a certain way. They do look pretty, and she was hesitating. She was like, they do look deformed. And when she said that, I kind of got offense to it. I was like, why would you say something like that? You're supposed to be a professional. I kind of got angry, but I didn't obviously show it. It was all inside. And she was so nice. She was like, I'm so grateful she gave me that talk, because she kind of almost prepared me. And she was like, don't expect him to be the same. Just please, like, think of the worst and then go in. And I did. I thought of the worst, but even when I thought of the worst, it was nothing to what I saw. Like, what I saw was, I just wished that he died. Like, wallah, like, I just wished that my brother died. And I was like, my God, like, you're going through that for those whole 4 months, and you're suffering, and you look like this. Like, it was just really painful to see him like that. And yeah, sorry.
That's right.
I don't know why I'm so emotional. I can speak about stuff like that, and I don't like get emotional, but I feel like it's weird right now.
So what exactly, how can I say it, what exactly has happened to him, in the sense of what
medical stuff?
Medically, what's actually wrong with him, in the sense of how has it affected him?
Okay, so he went into a hypoxic state, which is just lack of oxygen in the brain, because his heart stopped beating for about 8 to 10 minutes, and the brain could only handle 4 minutes. By textbook definition, it could only handle 4 minutes with lack of oxygen, and they will still be able to recover, but they won't be the same. Whereas Ahmed, he went way past that, double the amount. So from the get-go, they just didn't have hope for him. right? And that was what his initial diagnosis was, is that he suffers from a hypoxic brain injury. And he had, at that point, still, his heart was quite fragile. And then a clot began, no, it's not a clot, a hole began to form in his heart, and they had to do surgery on that. But that was like within the 6 weeks or 3 months or something like that. They had to perform the heart surgery, which in itself, they told us, you know, if we do this heart surgery, we wanted to ask your permission, because he can go as well, because of the state that he's already in. If they perform his heart, the more lack of oxygen, which just means like zero Ahmed. And obviously we didn't have a choice, so we were like, yeah, just do the operation. I mean, he's gonna die from either or, right? So that was another one, is the hole in his heart. And then he ended up getting pneumonia. He ended up getting pneumonia, and so you know, I wasn't on top of his medical stuff. It was actually my older sister. She works in the NHS, so she's actually more aware of the stuff. So she was on top of that. And you think that, you know, when I speak of Ahmed's pain, you would think that I went through a lot. But actually, I think the person who went through more than any of us when it came to the reality of Ahmed's actual condition was my older sister.
That's because she knew the ins and outs of it.
She knew the ins and outs.
Yeah.
She knew how much she was suffering. And what made it so much worse is that she actually didn't have hope. So she didn't have hope. She didn't have faith that he would recover, because she's so scientifically engineered.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, you know, when someone lacks iman, which I hate saying that about her, but she's so into her books, and she's so into what the doctors were saying, is that everything else that we were saying to her, like have faith, was a bit like unrealistic,
right,
to have. So everything that was told to her was. Yeah, and she's the one who was on top of this stuff. So she has actually the most information, more than me, I would say, about his condition. But from what I've been taught by her, is these are his medical conditions. He went through pneumonia. He ended up having kidney failure. He has spinal damage as well, and he had to go through dialysis. I think that's a medication, or it's a condition, I'm not sure, but dialysis, and liver failure, not kidney failure, liver failure, and he now has unconscious, I forgot the word, but it's called unconscious something, I don't know, I can look for it if you want. It's such a good, because it's so good, because people that are asking me about why, like doctor questions, not every neurologist is going to be able to help Ahmed. Not every brain injury doctor is able to help Ahmed, unless you specialize in brain injury, hypoxic neurotherapy, and unconscious whatever. That's when you are able to help Ahmed, because that is his condition.
Right.
And then you have to think about his physical side. That's just his brain. Then you need to think about his spinal injuries, which is affecting his functionality. You need to think about his nerves as well, that he has no control over, because he I usually know this stuff, but I feel like I've got a blank mind right now. But it's basically when you have no control over your limbs, and you don't move them. When you, like, for example, when he has storming, which is also another one of his condition, is storming, which he still has to this day. He doesn't have control over his hands and how his body moves, and now it's gotten so bad and so severe. It's like his fingers are cluttered on top of each other, and his toes are just like, you know, like just
clenched in some sense.
Clenched, but his actual formation has changed.
Okay.
So his bones have shifted and changed, and even his nails. When you look at his nails, it's not like his nails that you see when he was normal in the pictures, or how we have nails. His nail has shortened and dug in to his fingers. It's just, when I say deformed, I truly mean he looks, you know, people are like, keep your brother's dignity. I have so much of kept his dignity. I'm trying so hard to continue to keep his dignity, but still share what needs to be shared. I've tried to share like neck and up, and if it's a body, then a thing is covering his body, because I promise you, if you see his body, I wasn't able to sleep for 2 weeks, and neither did the rest of my family, because his body is just more than his actual physical appearance, what you see in what I've showed you. Yeah, right.
No, I get you. It's
a lot to take in.
Stuff.
It's a lot to digest, and I'm just like trying to remember everything right now.
No, I understand. It must be difficult. So when you heard of all of this, I'm guessing, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're thinking, you know, what can I do? There must be something that I can do.
Me?
As in yourself.
Okay, yeah.
What can I do to help? And I guess that's when the whole GoFundMe thing.
Actually,
okay.
No. For a long time, you know, I went through the rest of my family went through an emotional roller coaster of, first we had so much, like in Ramadan, we had so much naive faith that he's going to wake up in Eid and be like, yo, hey, I'm back. And then it was kind of, you know, they say the 5 phases of grief. That's what we went through. So like, not necessarily 5 phases, but we did go through whole different emotions of grief. And at first it was being naive and hopeful, and then it was being confused, and we just didn't understand why him, or what would happen to him, or what's going to happen to him, why it happened to him. Like, so many questions. It was just questions. It wasn't tears or anything. It was literally just questions. And then it became like, we saw him, and then the doctors were saying he's gonna go, and then it became morning, and we just cried and we just grieved, and we did like a shift with him. Like, I did like a 12-hour shift with him, and then we would swap, because we just didn't want him to die alone. So our family swapped and stuff, and every time it was me with him, oh my God, I just remember this now, but I would focus so sharply on his breathing pattern. And he used to do this thing where he kind of breathed really slowly, and then suddenly he would pause, and I would be like flustered. I'm like, no, don't go while I'm here, don't go, please, don't go while I'm here, in my head. And then he would kind of go and just pour a really big breath in, and then he starts breathing normally again, but really slow. So that was like, when I saw that from him, I was like, to Allah, and then my prayers became, Ya Allah, just please take my brother, please, my dad is waiting for him, he's got someone, he's not going to be lonely, just take him, and don't let him suffer. He doesn't deserve suffering. Like, nobody deserves suffering the way that he went through. And what's so sickening to this day, and I get angry at myself, and my family sometimes gets angry at me, is that I don't even wish the pain that he went through and the pain that we're going through, on anyone, including the person that did this to him. Like, I just can't bring myself to think that I know that someone's been through our pain. Sorry.
It's all right.
I just can't think that someone's been through our pain, and I see it happening to them, because they just will not be able to handle it. And if they do, honestly, like, congratulations. Just like us, like, congratulations to us for being able to handle it, because it's fucking hard. Sorry that I'm swearing, but
no, it's understandable. Like I said earlier, my brain can't comprehend what it's something that has never happened to me. I don't wish it ever to happen to me, or anyone that I know, or anyone that I don't know, actually. As you said, you don't wish it upon anyone, and I agree with that, just by what you're telling me. It must have been really, really difficult, and, you know, I totally understand that. So all of that's happened now, but part of me believes that you still were there.
Yeah.
In the sense
so
you still
sorry,
had that
I didn't
faith.
actually answer your question. So yeah, then it became me just wishing that Allah would take him, just stop his suffering, stop our suffering, just take him. When he was in hospital and he was still getting treatments, medical treatments and stuff like that, I still, in a way, a small percentage of me still had hope that he would outcome this, because I'm thinking, this guy got stabbed in the freaking heart, like straight in the heart, not beside it, not next to it, not in the actual heart, and he still survived. And me just saying that, just still, it was kind of reminding me that your brother's still alive.
Yep.
He's still alive. What are you giving up for? And when the doctors tried their hardest to say to us, he's gonna go, like every other day they would tell us, and we were accepting of it. But then when he didn't go, it became a thing of, I was angry. I was like, how dare anyone say that he's gonna go? I was angry at myself. I was like, what the fuck is wrong with me that I'm saying to Allah, take him, and I'm saying to Ahmed, Baba's waiting for you. If you want to go, go. But if you want to stay, I'm going to look after you. And I swear to God, Grams, every time I said that to him, he would just like tense his brows, and he would kind of have this like annoyed look on his face. And every time I said to the doctors, you know, I could see his facial expressions and stuff like that, they just dismissed it because, again, scientifically or medically, it's just not possible to them because he's dying. And I slowly started to speak to my sister and teach my sister, because she would come to me, like my family would come to me, because they would still see that I'm fighting for him. And they kind of drained me in a way because they want me to kind of not teach them, but help them have my faith and my ability to still be able to believe in Ahmed. And but doing that taught me to be strong as well. It taught me to be like, you listen to what you're teaching, what you're preaching to your family. Say this to yourself, right? And then I prayed and stuff like that, and I was just like, Allah, I don't know what you want, man. I don't know what you want. Whatever you want, do it. Just please don't let us see more suffering like this. I don't want to do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. I can't. I don't know how much you think I can handle, but I actually can't. And when the doctor started, this is the thing. I still had hope, and I was still kind of useless, in a sense. I was helpful to Ahmed in a way, because I would read to him or I would speak to him, but I was useless, that I wasn't able to help him medically. And then when the doctors were like, there's no more we can do for your brother, and I was like, no, I can't give up on him. My family can't give up on him. And now if the doctors give up on him, what other choice does this boy have? We're all killing him, all of us. We're killing that boy, not him. He's not willing to go. He's not ready to go. We're forcing him to go by giving up on him. And I was, when the doctors finally gave up and they put him in a care home, I was like, okay, we need to do something. And then a woman suggested, and I won't mention her name, and she honestly was a freaking star. Like, she helped us so much, not just professionally but emotionally as well. She just knew like what had happened to him was just not right. And she's the one who suggested it. She was like, you guys should just do a GoFundMe and see what you can do. But the GoFundMe was not actually a thing of, I just thought, let's do the GoFundMe for fun, or let's make money. I just did it because it was suggested to me. I didn't believe in it. I was like, nobody's gonna care, nobody's gonna give a shit. And in a way, people actually didn't, because when I first started, the first day, it was just family and friends that donated. And then the next day, it was so dry. Nobody donated. I got probably £5 in that whole day. And I was just like, okay, this is going nowhere. And then I posted the video on TikTok, and that didn't go anywhere either. And I just was like, what else can I do? I posted it on Instagram, again, not thinking about it. And then from there, it just went mad. It went mad, and I was so grateful that we reached at that point our target. I was just told, do it, because you might need some medical supplies, or like, you know, like an electrical bed if you ever ask for him to come to your home, and you will look after him, or just like, you know, like, because medical beds aren't cheap. You
didn't think it would reach
to
where it reached?
Oh my God, no.
So where did it transition then? Because
the first day of when I posted it is when it went crazy on my Instagram. That's when it just went, because I had at least like 1,200 on my Instagram, and just think half of those people shared it. And then I didn't think people would care, but because I've seen this from Ahmed so many times, I became like emotionless to his condition now, because I accepted his condition now. But there are other people, this is a shock to them, because they haven't seen it the way that I have throughout the whole year. This is a shock to them. So I had to remind myself that people are actually they are getting shocked by this. And that's why they're caring and sharing his story. Yeah. So yeah, that's when it went crazy.
And you obviously you gained a lot of following and a lot of people watching the stories and etc. obviously we've spoken off camera, and you've said like that never was of concern.
No,
like you didn't care.
No.
That's why you were public. If you can see the story, you can donate, and you don't need to come back in the sense of engage with my page outside of what I need you to engage with it for. But obviously you're going to gain. People are going to want to follow so that they can keep track with what's happening.
This is
and
the
things
thing.
Like this.
When people were following me, they were following me based on giving them updates constantly on Ahmed. I can't do that. I can't do that. I can't. That's my brother. That's his dignity. That's his life. Like, I can't give people daily updates, because it's what we're still going through it. And I think a lot of people are starting, like, they think because it's happened from last year and I've just posted, we're still going through it. Ahmed's still suffering. Ahmed's not getting any better. We still haven't, unfortunately, got anywhere. The GoFundMe money is where it is at the moment in GoFundMe. It's not in my pocket. It's where you see it.
Right.
It's not with me.
Right. So let's touch up a little bit on that then. Yeah. So in terms of the finances, what you've gained so far, what is the plan? Because I think it's important, because you've never spoken about this publicly, have you?
No.
And I think it's important for you to do it for your own peace of mind, I think for your family, but also for the people that have kindly donated. It would be nice for them to get a little bit of clarity in terms of what the plan is, in the sense of where's the money going now, and God forbid if anything was to happen and he doesn't make it, what then happens to the money then? So I think it's important to clarify that.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, some people were actually respectfully asking me, because some of the ones that donated, for example, there was this guy who works in a mosque, and they do like charities every other month or so. He asked me very respectfully what would happen to the GoFundMe, and I was completely honest. When it comes to that money, we've been looking for doctors, we've been emailing doctors, when it comes to like his medical stuff, what we're looking for right now is just a second opinion, right? Just a second opinion. If a doctor says no, then no, bye, next one. The doctor says, let's try this.
So what exactly do you need?
We've been looking at research with what is good for Ahmed, and there is this treatment called oxygen therapy. Okay. So what we want right now is speak to a doctor that could say, yeah, we can try this on him, let's do this on him, and pay for it, and be like, okay, like, thank God we've tried doing something at least, and try that. If we get response, if it's appropriate for Ahmed, because I'm not a doctor, I don't know what's great for him, I don't know what's good for him. Whatever he needs, at least we've got the money to say, yeah, use this money, take it, like, it's for him. But if Ahmed, this is us going to try to use it for his benefit. Yeah. But if astaghfirullah, like, my brother dies and we haven't touched that money, I'm not taking that money. I'm going to refund that money. That money has become such a burden, and it's given me more depression than learning about my brother's condition. And then, but if I used a chunk of it to try and help him and then he passes, then we're going to again give it away, but give it away to a good cause. Such as... Yeah,
so let's touch up on that.
Yeah. Because think about it, if I use some of that money, I won't be able to refund people back their whole chunk, right?
Right.
It wouldn't be possible because we already used that. But if it's still a chunk of money and we've used only some of it, but then if I return it, it won't be a full refund, what I can do is give it, because that money is charity, it's meant for charity. Yeah. So I would give it to charity, but charity that is in the same position, whether it's knife crime, whether it's hypoxic research, whether it's hypoxic patients that have more chances of surviving than Ahmed, just give it away. I just don't want anything to do with that money.
Right. Like, so either way, it's going to a good cause.
Yeah, either way, it's going to a good cause. It is aimed to help the condition that Ahmed's in. That's the full stop of it. Yeah. The money is charity. Okay? Yeah. It's not money for me to dance about with. It's money for charity. It's money for Ahmed. Ahmed, full stop. It's to help his condition, no matter what false lies or whatever. It's to help his condition that people see him in now. Okay? If we use that money for him, great. If we end up not able to help him, goes to someone who does need it. That when Ahmed is gone, Allah like will again.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that I thought that was important to clarify.
Yeah,
Because
of course.
you know, a lot of people that donate don't know you personally. They don't know how good your heart is. They have no idea. You know, you've got all kinds of people in this world
Yeah.
that do GoFundMes and keep the money. Like, that exists.
I
People
know.
do that. So it's good that you've clarified that and cleared some of the misconceptions. That leads me on to my next point, which is quite a sensitive topic with everything that's happened over the last couple of days.
My belly just twisted.
But I think it's important.
Yeah,
I think it's
go on.
important for your peace of mind, again, your family's, but also to clear his name, you know. Everyone's read what's happened. We won't dive deep into all of that because I don't think it's important in that sense. But what do you say, or can you clarify for the people that have messaged you over the last couple of days and have said that this is what I've read in terms of gang affiliation?
Ahmed was not in a gang, okay?
Right.
Let's just clear that up now before it goes on more and more and more. Ahmed is not in a gang.
Yep.
The first article that was written, and they put down in the mistaken belief that Ahmed is an active gang member.
Right.
All right? Ahmed is not an active gang member. And that was the key point, that people were just misusing and saying it was a mistaken belief, it was a different person. No, it was a mistaken belief that he was an active gang member, which he was not.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And that was the point. And that was like, he's just, Ahmed is not a saint. He was not a saint, you know. He went through shit as well, but he was never like into gangs and stuff like that. Yes, he hung out with guys in the area, with guys in the blocks. I don't know what you call them, like, you know. And he was loved by a lot of people because his character's so great.
I think, not to cut you off, I think it's important that you've clarified that. And the reason why I say that is because people have this weird thing where, you know, just because a person may know people that are in gangs, it doesn't mean that they are in gangs.
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you. This is the street culture, though.
Yeah.
If you are friends with someone that is in one, you're automatically that you're one.
Yeah.
Or if you have if you're respected amongst those people that are, you're automatically in a gang. And it's so fucked up.
Yeah,
right?
that's just the society that we live in and the way that people perceive it. But like, I'm 30, you know, I'm not affiliated to any gang whatsoever. You know, people have done stuff back in the day that they're not proud of, and they've grown up to believe that, you know what, that isn't going to shape my life. That isn't going to make me a better person. It's not going to create a career for me or a life or something that I can say to my kids, look what your dad done, right? But I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't know people that are in that lifestyle, because that would be a lie. And a lot of people in this country, or specifically in London and some of the areas that we live in, they may know people that they've grown up with that are still in that lifestyle. But it doesn't mean that the individual, i.e. me, is affiliated or, you know, helps them out in doing what they do to keep that name. Like, there's just... It's ridiculous, you know. And this is what happens. Like, that's like me, God forbid, I walk in the street, I'm gonna go buy some milk for my mum, right? And I don't know, I put up a snap with one of my friends who I've grown up with, and he's affiliated to a gang, for instance. First of all, that doesn't mean that I am affiliated with that gang. I probably don't know even who that gang is, but we've grown up and I've grown to love him for different reasons and share experiences with him for different reasons. So that's like me now walking to the street and me getting attacked just because I know him. And that's just ridiculous, because the love that I have for him and the connection we have has nothing to do with the connection he has with you. So that should completely put me out of that argument. But
then even let's talk about little gangs for a moment. Even people that are in gangs when they're younger and they're stupid to fall into that lifestyle for whatever personal reasons, right? You just don't know what people's circumstances are, and you are in one, but then you do change your life around. You grow and you realize, man, I'm such an idiot. Like, I wanted to change my life around. I'm going to take active measures to change my life around.
Of course.
and then say this happens to you.
Yeah.
How is that fair? You
Of
are on the
course.
process of changing your life around.
Of course.
Right? And this is what I mean as well when I say, because I want to be honest with you and
Mm-hmm.
whoever's going to be seeing this. Like, I'm scared to, because I know how judgmental people are. But Ahmed was, like I said, he was a good person. He genuinely was a good person,
Mm-hmm.
not just obviously to us, but to everyone else. He was so easy to make friends with. And he wasn't in a gang or anything like that, but he did do stupid things when he was younger, when he was 15, 16. Oh my God, what the hell was I thinking? And laugh about it and be like, okay, moving on. Now I need a job, which he got, and he became a steward. Do you know what that is?
A steward is the people at the stadiums, right?
They're like security.
Yeah.
They're security, but they do different events. He's ended up doing that. He wanted to get into a course for hairdressing, for barbering,
right?
Because he knows I'm a beauty therapist, and he's like, for it, like, you know, he always had these ambitions. He's like, let's open a barbershop, and then next thing you open a beauty therapy shop. And these, like, I smile about it and laugh about it, but it was real. This is his ambitions, and he did do active steps to do these things.
Yeah.
And he even went into fitness, and he went gym, and he wanted to do like personal training on the side.
So not to cut you off, but
yeah.
he did bad things.
Yeah,
as we
he
all
did.
But he
But he wasn't in a gang.
Yeah, no,
this is the
that's-
thing. He
yeah.
did bad things, but it wasn't. Let's not now say, okay, because you do something stupid,
Like
you're
me.
automatically in a gang.
That's ridiculous.
And because you have certain friends, automatically on a gang, because that's bullshit.
That's like me. People don't know the ins and outs. Say, I don't know, let's just throw an example in there. My mum's suffering from a crazy condition that I can't afford to pay for. And I go and burgle a house. Doesn't mean I'm in a gang because I burgled the house. It means that doesn't mean what I've done is good, because now that family is going to suffer from what I've done. But I haven't taken that into consideration because I need to pay for whatever I need to pay for my mum. Doesn't mean now I'm associated to that gang that operates around the corner. I think but this is the thing. And
you know, actually, it's funny you mentioned that. Like, things like this are done because they come from certain reasons, right? So you gave an example. For example, if your mum was going through things and you needed money, they come from certain things.
Not everyone does it because they've heard it in a rap video and it sounds cool. Some people have genuine problems and they think that this is the only way that I can deal with it and help the situation, if that makes sense. But again, it's good. Look, at the end of the day, and I don't want to touch up too much on this topic, but I will very, very briefly. Unfortunately, we do come from a very judgmental culture.
I know, and that's why, this is the thing, I was getting so like, sorry I cut you off.
No problem.
But, you know, I was getting judged for, you know, people are like, oh, all these allegations. First of all, are you really believing what the papers are saying? Like, really? Like, it's just so stupid, and they're acting like there's no CCTV and there's no transcripts, court transcripts that I could easily pull up and be like, here, leave me alone. The point is that proof is there, evidence is there, and it is out there.
I mean, look, anyone with half a brain, and I'm not trying to be arrogant or silly when I say this, but anyone with half a brain knows that not to believe everything you read. Like, you know that cliche saying, don't believe everything you read.
Yeah.
It's like everybody
knows
knows
people still
this.
want to do it because it's, for them, it's not their life. For them, it's entertainment. My life is entertainment for them. Ahmed's life is entertainment for them. In fact, some people, if it's not entertainment, it's a lesson. Oh, don't get into gangs. Don't get into what is it, knife violence? Because that's what those papers were asking of me to write. Like, there were so many papers and magazines and TV were asking me to do interviews for them, and some of them I've declined because I'm just like, no, because you're just going to twist the truth because of the first experience that I've had. And
that's exactly what I wanted to get into now.
Right.
So it's good that you bring it up. So I don't want to cut you off.
Because my thing was, I keep going back and forth. Sorry, I'm not really staying on a straight line. But we were talking about our judgmental culture. My biggest fear is what's happening right now, is people believing in this crap that Ahmed was in a gang. That is my biggest fear. And for people to be like, well, you never told us the truth. No, actually, I have told you. Everything I wrote on my Instagram is the truth.
I think look, from where I'm sitting, I think the fact that you declined telling the story with them and prefer to do it on a much smaller scale, I think it shows a lot of authenticity. And what I mean by that is what a lot of people try to do is they'll go to these big platforms to get popular. People do this. There are people in the world that do this, that use a really bad situation like this. You know, this could be good for what I'm trying to do, and I could plug what I'm trying to do. And obviously people are going to watch that. They're going to go on your social media because that's how it is now.
Yeah. So actually, it's funny you mentioned them because they have contacted me, and I really did want to. I did, because I was like, if I go on these type of shows, then maybe a doctor would actually find it and be like, oh, I can help.
There's pros and cons.
Yeah, there's pros and cons, because my thought was, if I
point.
speak to bigger scales, then maybe, because these things do happen where they find doctors and doctors offer, or they know people in doctors. You know, these people have connections. So in my head, I was thinking, oh, Ahmed's benefit, right? But at the same time, the cons, I was like, if they twist my story, if they twist what I say,
which is
it's
their
gonna
goal,
go
by the
left.
way.
Yeah, it's gonna go left real quick, because at the end of the day, their aim is not let's get Ahmed medical help. Their aim is let's spread awareness about gang violence and knife crime, right? And it doesn't matter how they portray Ahmed, as long as their message is out there. And that's what that my biggest fear was, and that's why he wrote that.
And I think the reason why they associate it to gang and race and things like this is because they don't want to deal with the actual real issues of why it happens. So they try to use these concepts as a way to justify it, when really there's like that's a whole nother topic within itself. But there's many reasons why people do the things they do. Expulsion from school, many reasons why. People in care, you know, stuff like that, why they grow up to do the things that they do. But that's something that they're in control of, so it's something that they'll never push, because then they'd have to justify what they're doing about it, and they're not doing anything about that. So that's why they add these gang things and stuff like that, because then it's your fault that it's like that, as in the individual. So yeah, I mean,
I don't know, Grams. I don't know what the reporters were thinking when they were.
So they reached out to you.
Yeah,
of course. And you just said, look, I'm not interested, basically.
No, it was kind of a long process.
Yeah.
But yeah, in a way, I was just like, nah. No, because you're
just
just gonna lie. No, because then there was like a long situation that happened that I won't get into because it's not relevant. But it was basically on my terms. I was like, it's going to be on my terms. I for example, asked to see the questions before they asked me, so they won't bombard me. Or ask me stuff that will be accusatory, which I would be like, what the hell? Because you know they're so great at twisting words.
So did they show you the questions?
So this is the thing, like it was about that. It was like, I want it based on my terms, not on your terms, because this is my pain, this is our pain. And it was kind of just went out back and forth. But then in the end, it was just like, just wait for the sentencing. And we waited until for the sentencing to finish. And then a reporter went in, heard what the judge said, and literally completely twisted the whole thing. It was so funny. Like you sit and you hear what the judge is saying, and what the judge, obviously I didn't go, but I know because of the people, the police officers that are telling us what they've said. And they were like, the judge said, I understand that they had links to gangs. And then the reporter twisted it to say that Ahmed was in a gang.
Of course, that's their job.
That's their job. Yeah. And that's when the whole craziness started happening.
Yeah. That's how they're going to sell stories.
Yeah, and then of course, the defendant, I think it's called, where the attacker, whoever, they have a right to make up a story or whatever. They have a right to say, oh, it was just self-defense. And then they put that down in the newspapers, and now it's Ahmed is the one that was armed. And then you have the pictures of the night that he was out, and then we saw in the CCTV camera, which was also like we saw the court. We were in court when this happened, and our lawyer was actually finding this hilarious because my brother Ahmed was wearing a long ass coat, tight fitted clothes, double closed jacket where it's like zipped up and then it's not, and then it's buttons, right? And it's his coat, it comes down to his thigh. So you would think, where would he put this knife? Because if it's in his pocket, I'm sure he'd have to pull his jacket to get his knife. And if it's like in his like chest somewhere, he'd have to open up this whole zip, and that would be a whole bunch of minutes gone, and not 6 seconds of what we saw.
Right, so 6 seconds.
Yeah, like it was a few seconds. I don't remember now because the court was a while back, but it was few seconds, the attack, few seconds. Take the knife and then stab them back with their knife that I've now taken.
Yeah.
And haven't given back, because I'm sure if you left it, Ahmed's fingerprints would have been on that knife too, right? Right? But no, the knife is nowhere to be found. I don't want to start more outrage, but it's just, it doesn't enter through my head. Like, people read the stuff and you think, where is your logic reading this? This boy, you see, like, this boy is wearing this coat, this clothes, where would he have the time to first take it out and then battle and then for it to be reversed on him?
Right.
Or, you know, like where would he put it in his clothes? Yeah. I'm sure you would find the prints of it.
Yeah.
The big ass knife. Do you know? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't enter my head what people actually think reading this bullshit crap of newspapers that they put out these days.
Right. Okay.
People are gonna be angry, but you know what?
No, but do you know
it's
what?
It's like I'm tired. I'm tired of defending Ahmed and defending myself when, at the end of the day. Look at his nothing we need to fight about, nothing we need to prove. Look at my brother's condition. This is what I'm trying to do.
But what did I say
him.
to you off camera though?
Yeah.
No matter what you say, no matter what you do, there will be a group of people that will have something to say.
Hiding behind fake accounts.
Yeah, even if it's, majority of the time, but even if it's not, there's always going to be someone that isn't, like I said off camera to you, I could fill a van with medicine, food, water, go to some of these poor countries in the Middle East, and there'll be someone on YouTube that'll say, he did this for views, he did this for subscribers, he did this for this and this, that, regardless of what our religion says about the people that do stuff like that. And it will be the people that follow that religion a lot of the time that will say it. And it's like, you cannot please everyone. So there'll be people, I said it to you, and I'll say it again, there's going to be people that are going to watch this and they're going to throw hate. And that is impossible to stop. But the important thing is for you to clarify your position for everybody's sake, as well as Ahmed's, and clear some of the misconceptions, because it's important for yourself and it's important for the kind people that have donated, you know. So thank you obviously for clarifying that. I think it's important. Obviously that leads us to the second segment of the podcast where we talk about like dealing with pain and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
Obviously you've dealt with, and your family has dealt with immense and still is.
You know, whenever, like you've noticed, like whenever I talk about Ahmed's situation, or I talk about our pain, it kind of gets hard for me to control myself and to laugh about it, because that's how I deal with things. I just laugh about them and make jokes of them and put my makeup on and take selfies. That's what I do to get over it. But then when people start asking me, and like what we're doing right now, really having a sit down and talking about it, I do get emotional, and it does get really hard to talk about it.
Especially the
so
people
get ready for some like tears.
No,
I'll try my best to hold them back, but boy,
because I saw something online and it was like, well, why didn't you open a second account? Oh, you removed your pictures, then put it back. It's like, let me try and be normal. Like, you know, with that, right? Because I don't know you in that sense, right? But it's just like, how ridiculous can you be? So you want me to remove my whole existence, right? With everything that I'm going through, do you expect me to mourn and grieve and be in pain 24/7? No, I need to try and live a normal life to some extent. And if I want to upload a selfie to try and make me feel better, I will upload a selfie. In fact, the latest one you uploaded with the
I know, it was so passive aggressive, but I was so fed up.
I found that interesting.
I was so fed up. Like, people.
That's something I would write.
Because my whole life, when people see me on Instagram and meet me in person, it's two different people they meet. Like on Instagram, they're like, oh, she's so whatever, and then in person when they meet me, they're just like, oh, you're actually very sweet. Yeah. And I love that. I love like when people say these things, like, oh, nice, and these things, and I'm grateful for it. But people, like Instagram, you do give a certain perception, and I don't have control of what people think of me.
Of course.
You're only seeing a picture, you're not seeing a personality. Yeah. Right? So when you see my Instagram, you automatically assumed I'm a girl that likes to spend money and buy all these things, luxury things, and like materialistic. This is the word. You think I'm materialistic when you see my Instagram. And me posting all these pictures and stuff like that, I know people, I understand from a second person what it could look like, but that was my therapy. Instagram was my therapy. It was actually, remember, this is a whole year.
Yeah,
you think every day I'm crying in bed? Every night? My eyes, I wouldn't be able to see.
It goes back to what I said. People will say something no matter what.
And no, this I never actually cared about.
Okay.
But I was starting to get frustrated when it became like, oh, she's going to use the money for herself. That's when I started getting like, are you sick in the head to actually believe that's true or could ever be? I would prefer to be homeless, eat amongst dogs, than touch what is not halal for me. And that's made for my brother.
Yeah.
Like, how do you not have this idea in your head? How do you not have my mentality? Like, you know, sometimes you start questioning things. You're like, how are people so sick in the head? Like, and it's not a lot of people. It was a handful of people. But you know, it's funny because those handful of people are that affect you the most.
Of course. But
this is what's crazy.
So that's why it's kind of interwoven with the dealing with pain aspect. So that's all part of it. How are you dealing? Let's start with how you dealt with the pain in general. How you're dealing with it even till this day. There's two different ways I dealt with it. When it was before it was public, I dealt with it by pretending like it doesn't exist and kind of doing speeches and preaching to the family, and that is kind of how I made myself believe it too, and how I gave myself hope and faith. And then I also have like an amazing friend that's here today, and he kind of just like really, he was like my therapist. I feel so bad for him. I'm so sorry that I put you through that, but he was like my therapist, and he made me feel amazing, and I'm so grateful to him. And it's good to have a good positive during a time like this.
He's honestly been
the last thing you want.
I don't know how he stuck with me this whole time, because it hasn't been easy. So that was and of course Instagram and YouTube. I had a YouTube channel as well, and it was kind of just like I would laugh and smile when people would see that, but in me it didn't feel real. But seeing it was like, you're so heartless. Right? And me putting on makeup was kind of just like those few hours of me pretending like nothing was wrong. And me going out was just those few hours of pretending like nothing's happening, like life is normal again. And that's how you keep yourself sane. Honestly and truly, that is how you keep yourself sane. You can't go about your life every day like, fuck, I feel sorry for myself. I'm so like, you know,
because of lockdown as well, you know.
Yeah, and that's so hard.
Because I always say there's two different ways that people can deal with it. There's the people that stay at home, lock themselves away from people and grieve alone. Then there's the people that need to be around positivity, as you said with your friend that was always there for you. That is how I deal with pain. With everything that happened with my ex, with the death of my granddad, you know, that's how I dealt with it. I needed to be around people, positive energy, because it helped me get my mind off it.
And that's good for a lot of people too.
Yeah. I mean, there's no right or wrong here. If you're the type,
actually there is. Well, of course, no, I'm not a psychologist, but if you're the type of person to lock yourself in and not share your pain, what tends to happen is you would just explode. And that's when you overthink, you explode.
That's what I've been saying.
You do. You have to have people around you, good people around you. And with lockdown, you know, when I was doing all of those pretty stuff on Instagram, I wasn't going anywhere. I was in my room. So you would see me put my makeup on, look all beautiful, do a bit of like show here and there, and then as soon as the cameras turn off, I'm taking that shit off and I'm crying. And my tears are coming back out because I'm back to reality, you know. And that was, this whole thing that I'm telling you now is before social media. I'm not gonna lie to you, with social media I'm still struggling. I'm struggling.
Is that because of
I'm fucking struggling.
Is that because of people's comments?
You know, you get thousands and thousands of beautiful people genuinely care and want like updates and stuff like that. But then you avoid all of that, and you purposely look for horrible shit. You purposely look for stuff like that because you're like, almost, I don't know how to explain it, almost like you want yourself to feel pain. Is that weird? You know, like, you know those people that stab themselves and they want to feel that pain?
I think with that is because there was a time where I was getting DMs from people that were doing that. And that's why I explicitly said that I can't advise you in any way, shape or form on anything like that. Things like domestic violence, things like self-harming, because there's nothing that I can say that's going to help you. You need to go either to local authorities or to see someone that's qualified in that position. But from the time that what I was getting from that is the people were doing it because it was less painful than what they were actually going through.
Oh my God, yeah. Grams. If I tell you, you're gonna laugh at me. I don't want people to feel I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I really don't. But the reality of the situation is, I'll be going past the bridge and I'll just stare at the cars that pass by, that drive by, and I'm just like staring, and I get lost in time, and I'm like, if I do it, it'll be so easy. Imagine if I do it. Imagine, like, I'm doing my best to seek therapy and to find help. But what if that's just never enough because of the shit that I've been getting on Instagram? And then the same people that are causing that pain easily log off and go about their day. But you are the reason why I've lost my life. You contributed to death. You are a murderer in a sense, but you're just not, you haven't technically done. Yeah, it's not direct. You know? It's so fucked up. Like,
I think people need to be mindful of what it can do to someone's mental health. You know, and this is the problem, you know, for a lot of the good things that social media has done,
I know,
which it
has,
a
lot of bad as well.
It's definitely done a lot of bad things. And what people don't take into consideration is that one comment that you've just posted could have crazy repercussions to someone's mental health, but it's just not taken into consideration. You know, it makes me think, how do you wake up in the morning and think, do you know what?
Let's just
forget my job, forget making money and paying my rent and all these things. Let's go on a social media platform and say something bad to this person.
You can only tell yourself so much about this stuff, try to make yourself better, and it just gets so hard to be okay.
So how are you dealing with the social media?
I'm still trying. I'm not gonna lie to you and say I'm okay. I'm not okay. I'm actually not okay. I can laugh 1 minute and then the next day I'm having suicidal thoughts. I legit am. And this is why I call my friend. I'm like, can I please, I just need to get out of here. Like, I can't be here, because if I'm here any longer, I'm gonna do. The thing is, this is what's so funny, like, religion itself is not preventing me from killing myself. It's my mum, because I see her pain and I don't
want to add to it.
If I'm the reason why you're gonna go through more pain, I'm definitely going hell first of all. But then my hell would be not fire and burning my skin, but it would be seeing my mum in pain because of me.
Yeah.
And my mum is right now, she's broken. Like, my mum is so beautiful, but when you look at her now, she looks so old. And this is what pain does to people. It ages people. Yeah. And I see her hair, and I'm forcing her to dye her hair because I don't want to see her grey hairs no more. I don't want to see her black eyes. I don't want to see her puffy face. Like, I want to do everything that I can to make her feel better, but then I'm the one that's thinking these thoughts. And if I even mention that to her, this is going to hurt her more, because she's thinking, what have I done to deserve such a life?
Yeah. That
I've spoiled. This is the thing that hurt me as well. I remember her saying is, when she was praying, I'll say it in Arabic and then I'll explain what it means. She was like, يا ربي دلليتهم وطيتهم دنيتي وهسه خذيت دنيتي من عندي. It basically means, God, I spoiled them, I gave them my world, and now you took my world from me. That's what she was saying. And when I heard her say that, I was like, I don't want to be that reason that does that to my mum. Like, I swear, like, it's crazy, because now I pray. You know, it took me a long time for me. I always love Allah. Always love my religion, respect my religion. But I was never practicing. Like many Muslims, I don't practice, you know. But now I'm practicing, but still, it's not my religion that's keeping me alive. It's my mum.
Yeah.
I don't want to add more to her pain.
No, I understand that. Yeah. It's a difficult situation, and I agree. You know, at the end of the day, if that's the perspective that's going to keep you here, then go with that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Same with the twin. You know, like, I'm talking about myself. Let's talk about the twin, Ahmed's twin. You know what he's going through right now? He's lost half of him. He actually lost half of him. He shared a room with this guy, he has no purpose in this life. He feels like he has no purpose. He keeps saying, I'm going to go Umrah for you. I'm going to pray for you. I'm going to go Hajj for you. I'm going to tell Allah to bring you back. And then when reality sinks in, and it is what he's going through, he breaks my heart so much. He's like, you don't understand. I don't have a purpose. When he says that to me, I'm like, why are you saying that? You do have a purpose. What are you talking about? You might have a child, and your child might look exactly like Ahmed or sound exactly like Ahmed, and then it will bring you good memories. He's like, what are you talking about? He's like, what are you talking about? Half of me is gone. I'm like, I keep trying to make him feel better, but there's nothing that I can say in my state that could make him feel better. You know, I could only pretend to be strong so much in front of him. But then this guy, the only thing, it's not my mum. Again, for him, it's not my mum that's keeping him alive. Although it adds to it, it's actually, he really is into religion, and he prays, and he even wakes up for Fajr to pray. He's real when he's religious. It's Allah. He's like, I'm so scared because I know suicide is a sin. Yeah. And that's what's stopping him. Obviously,
look, you've said what you feel is keeping you here, and it's more your mum as opposed to the religion. What I want to do is touch up on a little bit of that before we close off the podcast. I believe, because there's things that have happened in my life that has put me through depression, that has made me deal with difficult times, you know, times when I felt I didn't have a purpose, times when I felt like, I haven't got this anymore. This is what I desire. I don't have this anymore. What do I do now? And the thing with being a believer in God is he has a plan. And he has a plan, and he has a purpose for why he's doing what he's doing. You know, your situation is very, very different to mine. I lost my granddad that taught me the religion. I haven't practiced the religion since his death. And when I spoke to a very close friend of mine that's a psychotherapist, she said, you know, why aren't you practicing? She's a revert. She's like, why aren't you practicing? And I just said, you know, this is that, making them excuses. And I started speaking about my granddad, and she said, when did he die? And I said, 3 years ago. And she goes, when did you stop practicing? I said, 3 years ago. And then she straight away, she formulated she put the two together, and she said, it's as if your religion has gone and died with him. You know, and it's like that. For someone to say something like that to you, and it speaks volumes, and you don't even realize it, you know, and that's what it is. God has his way of doing things, and he doesn't forget. Could it be that he's protecting him from what could have happened? That was 10 times worse. Could it be that?
It's funny you say that. My sister was like, imagine if he's in his 30s and he has kids that he leaves behind. At least now he doesn't leave anyone behind but
this is what I'm saying. It could be that. And I know sitting here, it's easy for me to say this because I'm not going through it, and I understand how it could come across. But I stand firm with that belief that he will do things like this that will give you temporary pain to save you potentially from something that is pain that you will struggle to handle more, because they do say, you know, he'll never give you a pain that you can't handle or bear you with a situation that you can't handle. But could it be that he was saving him from something 10 times worse, i.e. what you said, leaving kids behind? Could it be that he's saving you guys because now you guys are practicing? Would you have practiced if this didn't happen? You know, things like this. So to say, you know, the reason I'm not doing these things and these thoughts that I'm having, I'm not acting upon them, is because of my mum, it's fine. Look, if that's the perspective, that's the perspective. But the spiritual side involving God and religion, it gives you more of an explanation and more of a purpose and a perspective of why I shouldn't do those things. Because could it be that he's saving me from something 100 times worse? You know, and I think that's how people should look at things. I believe anyway, because it worked well for me.
I always like to think, just wait. This is temporary. You've been through worse. You've been through worse. You've been through worse. Now it's just 100 people, thousands of people witnessing it. Just wait. I always tell myself this as well. I always try to bring religion and tell myself, just be patient. Allah's got you. It does get hard days. Some days it gets really hard and you're like, Allah, I don't know what you got in store for me, but I don't think I can handle this. You're wrong. I can't handle this. But then when the good days come and you kind of just laugh about it, and I'm still hoping for those good days. I'm in that process of waiting for those good days to laugh about it and be like, I got through it. I'm a warrior, just like my brother. And inshallah it will come.
Inshallah.
And to everyone who is going through an equal amount of pain, have faith, man, and be patient. Be patient and pray, because if I wasn't praying, I personally thought that I wouldn't have been as patient or strong. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Just like as a final point, any regrets
on
just in general, since its inception, if you like, to now, and anything that you think I shouldn't have done that, or I could have done this a little bit different, or are you happy with where you've gone about it?
I think I should have done this much sooner.
This as in
this right now.
Okay.
The talk, the podcast.
Right.
I should have been vocal much sooner before. As soon as it became public.
Just communicate.
Because the thing is, I'm so scared of the judgmental people that are out there that it's made me silent.
Listen, this
I
is
know
gonna,
that now.
Fora, this is gonna come out. I'm guaranteeing you.
Yeah.
I'm almost guaranteeing you. This will come out, and there will be people that will spread hate. And like I said to you, that is impossible to stop. It doesn't matter what you could have said.
They just don't know the harm they're causing, but they're still going to do it.
Of course, but that's not. They don't take that into consideration. You know, because it gives them some kind of sick,
adrenaline,
fulfilling feeling. It's like, what's wrong with you? But people are gonna say things. But it's about how you deal with it, and you've got to look at the bigger picture. You know, why am I doing it? I'm doing it for him, to clear his name, to give people clarity, to clear the misconceptions. And I think, look, I don't know how much you agree with it, but I think what you've done is brave.
Thanks.
I think I admire your perseverance, because a lot of people would have given up. A lot of people wouldn't have been able to deal with the things that you've dealt with, whether that be social media, or whether that be the media, or whether that be whatever the case may be. A lot of people wouldn't have been able to deal with it. But like I admire your courage, and it's something that if a situation like that was ever to happen to me, God forbid, or to anyone, I'll definitely think, do you know what? If she can do it, anybody can. So I do think that, you know, you're going to inspire a lot of people with this, despite what you think about the negativity.
Inshallah, actually, you know what I hope? Inshallah, when this finally ends, this craziness at the moment, and my sanity is sane again, and I'm able to handle it again, my thing would be, I hope to only help people that have been through what I've been through, and just to spread love instead of hate. Spread, genuinely spread love and strength than hate and negativity and aggressiveness.
It's interesting you say that, because with everything,
because I feel like this is what we're lacking.
Yeah, of course.
Right now.
We just lack empathy. We lack
we lack so much. It's like, oh my, do you have a brother?
Yeah.
If this happened to your brother, how would you feel? People don't think like that no more.
Yeah.
They just don't. They dismiss themselves.
They don't put themselves in other people's shoes.
In my life, I would have never guessed this would have happened to our family. You are no different. You are no. It could happen to you tomorrow. Astaghfirullah. It could happen to you tomorrow.
Of course, yeah.
You know, don't dismiss yourself from this stuff, because it can happen to you, and it will if God wills it.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know what God wants me to do to now going forward, but inshallah, I'll be able to help people. I'll be happy to help people, because then I'll be like, I've been through it. I know what you're talking about, but you got this. You know. Inshallah, hopefully one day, you never know, I might just be like, oh my god, F this social media, I want nothing to do, because I'm at this verge right now, I actually want nothing to do with you, but sometimes I go ghost on it because it feels better, but hopefully one day Inshallah, I'll be able to do something that could help people other than myself and my family.
And that's what I'm doing today, because of all the things that have happened to me.
You know what, just doing this alone, this is why I say communicating is a big thing. Just doing this alone feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulder. It feels so much better. I came in here depressed. I can go out smiling.
Yeah, that's
you know,
good.
You saw how much I was shaking.
Yeah.
I came in here nervous. Look at me now.
Yeah.
I'm
No,
okay.
look. I hope, inshallah, God gives you and your family everything that you want from this situation. That Ahmed is cured and comes out as best as he possibly can.
Inshallah.
But we'll leave that to God. And I think the main message to go away from this is, no matter what God decides, we should accept that. And it's difficult.
I honestly, Grams, I have. I'm like, whatever you want, I'm
happy
okay.
with it.
I'm okay with it. Just please, no more suffering. Like, please, I can't do it no more. Yeah. Thank you, Grams, so much.
It's
honestly.
fine. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Thanks for clarifying everything with us. I'm sure a lot of people are going to watch this. And as I said, look, just keep your head up, and inshallah, God does what He thinks is best.
Thank you so much.
It's all right.
Honestly, you've been
This
great.
is fine.